Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start by logging into your Clever. And once you're in your Clever, you're going to click on Flocabulary. Okay, so the first thing you're going to see is your dashboard. Here in your dashboard, there's a couple of different things. At the top, you have the different tabs. So like the first tab are your lessons, the mixes, which is kind of like where you create your own lessons using, templates that they have. Playlist is going to be your library. So once you find lessons that you like, you can add it to your library, or the lessons that you create, you can add it here as well. Or you can also create a playlist with AI. The next tab is your My Classes. So here you can import a class from Google Classroom, or you can create a class manually. And then you have the search bar and your profile information. So the thing that we're going to be going over are the lessons. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard. And right in front, you can see it has all the different subjects. So you can look through the different standards, different categories within language arts, math, science, social studies, vocabulary, and life skills. So for today, let's just use science as an example. Let's say we're going to be doing a lesson on life science. When you go to life science, it's going to give you all different grade levels and stuff. So you would need to click on filters and choose the grade level that you need. So for today, I'm just going to go ahead and choose third grade. You can also choose the type of lesson that you want. So like if you only want the Flocabulary originals or the Nearpod originals or the video text, then you would choose those. I'm just going to leave it as just third grade and click show results. So let's say I'm doing a lesson on food chains. Well, before I click on that one, let me show you a couple of things. So on each lesson, it gives you kind of like a preview. So it tells you, what it is. So like this one is a Flocabulary original, it's science, and it's for grades K through 5. This one you can see here that this one is a Nearpod original. So it was created, it has Nearpod activities embedded into it. So as you're looking through it, you can kind of differentiate them that way. Then if you click on preview, it'll show you a little bit about it. So like this one is saying, every living thing goes through a life cycle. This song teaches how things are born, live, die, and create new life again. Okay. So for today, I'm going to go ahead and use the food chains. So I'm going to go to lesson. Once you're here, there's a couple of things that we're going to go over. So the first tab that the students have available to them is the video. So this is what it's going to look like on their end as well once you assign it. And you would assign it to them by clicking on the assign button. And then, of course, you have to have your classes already set up. I don't have them yet, so nothing pops up. But once you import your Google Classroom, then it'll pop up here, and that's where you'll assign the vocabulary to them. Now, that's only if you want them to access it on their own, like on their own computer. Now, if you want to just do this with them, this is fine. You can just show them this. So the first thing would be the video.
It's the food chain. Everything's gotta eat. All things need energy to live. It starts with the sun, cause it's got a lot to give. Shine a light on the plants which the animals eat, and that's how we get the energy that we need. Come on. All things need energy to live. It starts with the sun, cause it's got a lot to give. Shine a light on the plants which the animals eat.
Okay, so that was just a little bit of the song, and the majority of the songs and videos on here are kind of have this type of style. It's meant to, keep the kids engaged and want to learn about, whatever the topic is. So now down here you have some options. You have the lyrics. So look, if you wanted to look at the lyrics ahead of time and see where the vocabulary words pop up throughout the song, you can do that. The quick review is just a quick review with them. So like after you show them the video, you can click on that and then ask them some questions. What do all things get from the food that they eat? And then it tells them the answer. Or there's the discussion option. If you turn this on, then it'll stop it with throughout the video. So as the video is playing, once it gets to that little orange dot, it'll stop and ask them one of those prompting questions. Okay, the next thing is going to be here on the left-hand side is your vocab card. So after they've already watched the video, then they can come here and look at the vocabulary cards. So it has pictures for each of them, and when they click on it, it's got the definition. So here, bacteria, tiny one-celled organism, and then it has a little picture. And then it has some kind of like Nearpod activities embedded as well, so they can write this word out or draw a picture of it. The next thing would be the vocab game. So once they've reviewed all the vocabulary cards, they would come to this part. And so what this one is kind of like a game. So as they're answering questions, it adds kind of like different instruments to create a song. And they're answering questions based off of the vocabulary cards that we just went over. Okay, so hopefully you can hear that. So here it says drag the right word to its definition. So tiny one-celled organism, that's bacteria, so they just click and drag. And they have to answer 4 questions in order to get a new beat added. Drag the missing word, okay, and that's how a food chain works. Are there lots of food chains? You bet. They all link up to make a food web. Okay. An animal that does not produce its own food is a consumer. This plant is a blank because it makes its own energy from the sun. That is a producer. So hopefully you guys can hear that now it's added a different instrument. So it's got, it sounds a little bit different. So like I said, as they continue answering those questions, once they get to the end, it'll have like a complete song created. The next would be the break it down. So this one has some different components to it. So it's pretty much like a quiz, but it's not all multiple choice. So the first question is going to be a multiple choice question. Then the second question, they have to choose like a part of the video to answer. So like, for example, the question says, find evidence in the video that supports the idea that food chains can change depending on population. So they would create video clip. They have to go find the part of the video that talks about that. So let's say that's, somewhere here. They have to trim. Let's say from, and then they can say. So let's say that from here to here, that's where it's talking about, whatever the question was asking. They need to trim it to only show that part, and then they can save the clip. And that's their answer. Then the last one is a written response. So it says describe a food chain with at least 4 links. So here they would have to come up with their own example of a food chain, and they would type it here. The next option is the read and respond. So here they would read a short like little paragraph, and it's got some content language support embedded. So here it has energy, and it gives them the definition and some pictures. Here it has another one on food chain. So once they read it, then they answer the questions, and I think it has 7 questions. Okay, the next would be just a regular multiple choice quiz, and there's 10 questions on this one. The questions vary depending on the lesson. I've seen some lessons that have 5 questions and some that have more, so it just depends. And then the last is the lyric lab. So this one is basically like they're going to be creating their own song in a way. So it says here, think of a fact or detail about food chains, write a short line with the fact or detail. So they would hear, it kind of gives them clues by giving them the vocabulary words from the video. And they have to write a sentence. So let's just think of something using one of the words. So let's say we're going to use food chain. Today, oops. So today we will learn about food chains. So then they would click get rhymes. And now it gives them options of words that rhyme with the last word that they used. So in this case, we used food chains. So then it says hurricane, planes, brains, strains, contains. So then they would have to come up with another sentence using one of these rhyming words. And then it kind of just keeps going and going. Then they would, on the following sentence, they would choose another vocabulary word. And then on the next sentence, they would choose another rhyming word. And then again and again until they used up all of their vocabulary words. So this one's a little fun, but definitely time consuming. And that is pretty much it as far as the different components of a lesson. There are some teacher resources that you could look at. So like it gives you the overview of the lesson. It even has some handouts. So if you wanted to print out some activities for them to do either before or after the lesson that you do with them. It has the lyrics that you could print out, the fill in the blank, vocabulary cards, which are the ones that I showed you earlier, just on a printed version. The read and respond, and then the quiz. Okay, and then the last one are the standards and alignment. So if you need to find the standards, they would be here. However, it seems like they don't have the ones for science attached. So you would have to go specifically to our, the TEACS website to find it. But if you're doing like a reading or a math lesson, usually they do pop up here. And that is it. Thank you guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know.